Shalom, shalom, shalom. Good morning, Brother Randy here. Out in beautiful, beautiful morning. Enjoying some coffee and just got to thinking about work and a job. And I've said it over again that I had a career in human resources and implementing HR systems. And uh, one of my many roles, in addition to working with other people to implement these software systems, whether it was HR systems or payroll systems or onboarding systems, time and attendance systems, all of these systems I had to implement. I had to work with the team within the human resources department. And one of the primary contacts that I always used to work with uh, in the human resources department was the director of human resources. Now, the director of human resources sets the HR policies for any company that you work for. And typically, when you get hired, it always goes through human resources as well. Is when you get terminated, it always as well goes through the human resources department because they set the policy and this is their primary role and responsibility. But one of the things that I always used to notice uh, when talking to the directors of human resources and through my 14 years career of working in this field, I've must have worked closely with dozens of directors of human resources, and I always found it peculiar as to how they viewed their employees. They always typically just view their employees as an employee number, um, just someone that's there as a means to an end. And uh, I used to speak to, a couple of directors in human resources. We used to go out to lunch or, just sitting down and having casual conversations. And they used to explain to me a process called the Road to Termination. Um, and this is where a process is where they used to, hire somebody or they hired people, because of course there was a need for that individual at that particular time. Uh, that particular individual needed to be there because they served a specific role. But they were not intended on being there forever. Now, of course, uh, the anybody that's out there, you've joined a company, and it's always at will. In that offer letter, they always say, this is you're an employee at will. And one of the things that you go through is a 6 month, 1 year, 3 month employee evaluation. You have to be evaluated as an employee to see if you're meeting the expectations of that employer. And this is all done through the human resources department. And sometimes they used to, do a curve of the employee evaluations and find that a lot of employees or a certain sector group of employees, their value would go from 100% to 90% to 50% to 40%. And they used to map this curve. And they put these people on a road to termination, especially high end jobs where they really don't care, because they can just get somebody else to do, the job that you were doing. You're just there for a specific amount of time. And once your value has been eliminated or your value is going down below a certain percentage, they just fire you. They show you to the door. And this is always determined months in advance. Now, the employee does not know that the employer has decided to terminate, excuse me, terminate uh, their employment because that employer is still getting some measure of value from that employee at that particular time. But they know, throughout that course of that contractual agreement, that that uh, that contract will be ended, and the employer has decided that months in advance. And you may be even surprised that certain employers, they even decide when they hire you, when they're going to fire you. They It's already determined. You don't know that. They're not disclosing that to you. But they've already decided that, you're going to be there for 6 months, year, whatever amount of time that they've designated to have you. You're just nothing but a temporary employee. Um, and they're using you for a set amount of time in order to achieve their goal. And then after that, the name of the game is to, once you get to a certain point where you have no value, they terminate and they burn the bridge. And there's two ways that they go about doing this. They either give you restitution in the form of unemployment benefits, because they have to pay those unemployment benefits as well. Or B, they create an environment in such that you're not going to want to work there anymore. Either they ostracize you, they give you too much work. They'll do something where they don't have to make restitution towards you, um, and it will cause you to want to leave. It's like an induced type of situation. So you have to be mindful of that, in terms of an employee. And they call this the road to termination. They're not going to disclose this to you, but this is a technique that they use on employees. Now, certain employees, they find 100% value, and they keep those employees for lifetimes to come, because they produce value for that organization. But other people, they start off producing value, or their value turns off, or it plummets, and they just get rid of you. And those are the two ways that they get rid of you. And they go ahead and they get somebody else, but your value is ended within that organization. So you got to understand, this is how employers think. This is how the HR department works. It's all about, based on your value that you bring to the organization. And once your value runs out, once they've sucked you for what they need you for, they simply show you to the door. And those are the two ways in which they do it. Um, uh, just wanted to share that, because it's important. If you're in an employee-employer situation, this is just an inside scoop on how these HR departments work. So hope that was able to just give some clarification for you folks out there on the road determination. Shalom.